What's up, everybody? This is Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel, and today I am not talking about this knife in particular, although this is a great little knife. $19.50, a titanium frag frame lock, little fifth pocket knife. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few videos on anodizing, and I'm going to use this cheap little $20 knife to, and I'm going to ano it. There's going to be a lot of cuts in these videos because I'll record a little bit, then I will go do what I need to do, and then show you the beginning process. But say the polishing part of things, I'll just show you. Actually, this thing's so small I can probably show you all of it, but I'm gonna break this up into a few different videos. And for now, this video is gonna include the disassembly of this little budget knife, and then we are going to etch it in this video, and the next video will be the polishing part, and then we will do the anodizing. And actually, after, we're going to do a two color on this frag. We're going to do the whole thing in one color. I'm debating on that. I'll know that by the time I get there. Then we will polish off these flats on the top and do a second color and let it fade from the flats down into the deeper part where it's milled out to a different color. I think it's going to look pretty damn good. So this is a great little knife to start with. Now, I've never taken this side out. I may have to grab some pliers to get that part up. Grab something to hold those standoffs. And first thing you want to know, don't throw in any bearings or washers or stop pins. Make sure all of that is apart. All you want is the raw titanium. You throw in steel. Now, you can anodize with steel. Something I've learned is that I accidentally left a washer in on one of them, and unfortunately I etched it too, but I got lucky that it didn't mess up the detent track or the washer or the bearing track, and so it was okay. But then I anodized with that washer still in there, so it had steel contacting titanium, and I anodized it, and it gave it a multiple color iridescence look. It was actually pretty cool. So something I may do again in the future. Just throw I won't use one of my washers for the bearings, but just throw an extra washer in there with it, and you'll get some rainbow looking, pretty interesting looking colors. So yeah, so this is a good one to start with here. Good knife. It's inexpensive, and cool thing about anodizing is if it doesn't work the first time, you just etch it and do it again. Now there's multiple ways to etch, which we'll go over here momentarily, and I will bring you guys back when I get to the etching part. Hey guys, real quick before we get into the actual etching, one thing I did want to point out to everyone is your detent ball. Something that I do. I don't know if it's required or not, but I recommend doing it. We're going to be dropping these in acid, right? So you want to put a little fingernail polish over your detent ball, let it dry, blow it dry, and then put a second drop over it. After you're done etching and before you anodize, you can take some fingernail polish remover or acetone to take that off, and then you do your anodizing. So just something I want to throw in there real quick before we get into the etching process, where we're going to drop everything down in the acid. I'll see you over there. Alright guys, here we are at my little workstation here, and got my scales here and my two standoffs, and have titanium wire, which you will need to do this. You also have to have a power supply. You'll need to make your electrolyte solution, which is just distilled water and baking soda. You'll need some distilled water to rinse, and then you can use something called Multi-Etch, which you have to order directly from something metals. I'll link it down below. And it's poisonous, just like the Whink's rust and stain remover. It's a lot weaker than the Whink's rust and stain remover. It takes much longer for things to etch in that. It can take a few minutes of soaking in this, to where the Whink's takes a few seconds. So that's I'm not sure these are titanium, by the way. Just because they're not magnetic does not mean they are titanium. But we're going to see what happens. Get everything ready here. I'm going to use the Whinks, which is, you can buy that anywhere. Most hardware stores sell it, or you can order it on Amazon. I'll link it below. Powerful stuff. Should wear gloves when you're dealing with it, which I'm about to put on now. But I'm getting my materials ready before I put gloves on, because it's more of a pain in the butt to deal with stuff with gloves on. So I'm gonna hook these on some titanium wire and throw my gloves on. This is the electrolyte for the anodizing. We don't need it right now. We'll get to that a little bit later. And this is a very simple process. We're going to polish long before we go into that, but we want to go ahead and try to remove. You can remove this color polishing also, this blue color that's already on the scales. But it's quicker and you get a cleaner finish in my opinion if you go ahead and etch it first. So we're going to drop these down into the Whinks. If you get this stuff on bare skin, you need to have some water and baking soda handy, which will neutralize the acid so it won't burn your skin. Wear gloves, best thing you can do. Some nitrile gloves, which I can link those below also if you'd like. And the Multi-Etch I'll link, but you'll have to, it's expensive too. It costs like, for your first order, and it comes in this bottle. It comes in powder in a bottle, and then you have to add the water to it. And then I've got some left over in here. I've got some in here and some in this. I needed something deeper than this. So, and you'll need some of these polycarbonate tubs also. To something else about Whinks too, I've noticed is after you've used it a bunch, it gets weaker and weaker. And when you first get Whinks and put stuff in it, within 10 seconds it'll eat all that color off. But I have already used this quite a bit. I probably need to get some more actually. I'm hoping this will actually work, and but it may not. I may have to cut this video here and go get some more and come back and do this again and just not use this part of the video. Is it starting to eat it off? Yeah, it's eating it off. It's eating it off. It's just taking a lot longer than it normally takes. Normally no more than 10 seconds in that stuff and it's all gone. So we almost, the blue's gone now. All right, so we're going to take that out, drop that directly into distilled water just to rinse all that gross stuff off there. Put these standoffs in here and see what happens. I'm hoping they're titanium. They're not magnetic, so, and I doubt they're aluminum. They look like they could be brass, but I think that's just the finish on the titanium, so hopefully so. And if you guys have any questions about any of this, just leave a comment down in the comment section, and I respond to everyone's comments. So, and I'm watching this. You can, I don't know how well y'all see it on camera. I'm watching for the color to disappear like they did on these scales. I'll pull these out so you can see them real quick. These are going to get polished next, but you know, the color is completely gone on those. Fingernail polish is still on the detent ball though, so. And you can take that off multiple ways. There's still a little tiny spot there of blue, but when I'll get that off. I'm not really worried about that. When I re-anodize that, I'm not worried. That's on the inside of the scale. There's none on the outside of the scale or the edges of the scale. So these are great. This knife is a great one to get to practice with. And the cool thing about anodizing, you can just keep doing this multiple times. If it doesn't turn out the way you want it, you can, you know, put it back in, do it again. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe these are brass, because that should have came off, started coming off by now. Trying to anodize it won't hurt the brass or anything, so we'll see what happens. If they won't come off and they are brass and it stays that color, I'll just polish them up to a really high shine. Because I'm thinking about doing a bronze and green color on this. Bronze on the lows and greens on the flats of the frag. I think that'll look really good on this knife, so probably just leave those like they are and polish them up. But we do want to rinse all that junk off. As I can tell, it's getting weaker also by the smell. It doesn't smell like sulfur as much as when you first get it. So something I learned the hard way, because I'm fairly new to this, is I went and got 2 bottles of that stuff, which is like $8 a bottle, so I could fill this up to get it deep. Well, if I'd have left it in the bottle and sealed, It may have lasted longer. I don't know. Just put it in a small, a small container, but it doesn't need to be deep, and just lay the scales down in it flat. But we live and we learn. I'm not a huge fan of the multi-etch though. It just takes forever. It takes a long time, and it still doesn't take everything off very well, and I still have to end up polishing a lot. So, all right. So we are ready for polishing now. And I'm going to cut the video here, and the next video will be the polishing video. I'll see you guys on part 2.